There is internalized racism in our own community. There is anti-blackness in our own community. There is colorism in our own community. Think about those things.
Racism, anti-blackness, colorism, all of these things are still very much pervasive in our communities. Bro, Latinos haven't even reconciled with the fact that they can't use the N-word unless they're also black themselves, because Afro-Latinos exist. Oh, and if we're talking about Miami, oof, you'll see the whitest MAGA Latinos be like, bro, but I grew up in the hood. I grew up around black people. In Overtown or in Liberty City, I could say it, bro. No one's gonna stop me from saying it. It's my right. I'm not racist. I have a black friend.
Latinos, you can scream MAGA all you want, vote red, only speak English, even call ICE yourself, but you will never be the exception. You will never be white, and it's not going to stop you from getting racially profiled. Who said that? Who said that?
We got our own white people.
Oh.
And people don't understand that we have all, and the assimilation possibility for Latinx, Latin people is higher. People can come from other parts of Latin America, marry white as like they're told to do, assimilate and assume a white identity that black people cannot escape from. So they will continue to vote in that way because to them that's upward mobility. And unfortunately for us, success means being patted on the back. Not all of us, because y'all gonna go crazy on Twitter. I ain't got a Twitter, so it's okay. But they get the pat on the back from white people, and they feel like that's what being American is.
Damn.
And that colorism is real in our community. It is real.
We have Latino people who are trying to fight us in the comments, fight other black people in the comments for calling out the consistent racism and anti-blackness within the Latino community.
I will be honest. Listening to this, I can tell that some people are already feeling uncomfortable. But sometimes the conversations that people avoid are the ones that matter most. What caught my attention in those clips is that this is not one people speaking. You are hearing different voices saying things that sound similar. Some people talking about colorism, others talking about anti-blackness. Some people talking about how Latinos try to distance themselves from blackness while still benefiting from black culture. And maybe some of y'all watching this may say that this is not true. But hold on for a second. If so many people keep sharing similar experiences, then maybe there is something worth paying attention to. We've got more clips coming up, and some black Americans are about to share their personal experiences that made them see things differently. So I want y'all to really listen to what is being said, and then we'll come back at the end to talk about this. Remember to like the video.
And they are very anti-black and racist, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure that black people do not see success. And this is something that I have experienced personally, and all of the black people around me have experienced as well. They will make sure you don't get hired. If you do get hired, you will be harassed in the workplace, and they will try to get you fired. If they're your case manager, you're not getting that apartment, trust me. If they are in charge, or if they stand in front of any of your opportunities to do better, you're not getting that opportunity. You're not getting that job. You're not getting that promotion. You're not getting that apartment. You're not getting that whatever. They are very anti-black and racist, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure black people do not reach success, because they are very comfortable and happy being lapdogs for Christopher Columbus's descendants. Get mad if you want to. The truth is the truth, and the proof is in the pudding. Ask any black American you know how it goes in their city.
Okay, my turn. Something that I'm not afraid to admit as a Latina is that a lot of non-black Latinas will not only speak over black women, but will also insert themselves in conversations and try to make them about themselves.
You are just goals for so many young black women who just look up to
so many
you.
women.
So many women. Yeah, for women too, but for black women, we need...
That's just Gina Rodriguez being Gina Rodriguez. We know that black women give you heebie-jeebies. Anyway, she then goes on and contradicts herself.
I got into the arts so that I can hopefully create a path to have a reflection for our community, for Latinos, you know?
I thought we were talking about all women. Now, this next clip of J-Lo isn't as obvious, but I'll give context after.
It is just the norm,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
when you no longer need to ask that question.
Right. Yeah. I think when I first started, one of the things that I wanted to do, because I was Puerto Rican, Latina.
Lupita Nyong'o is saying that it's basically really trendy right now to work with underrepresented communities, and she's sharing her experience as a black woman. And immediately after, J-Lo has to bring up the fact that she's Puerto Rican, that she's Latina. Do you think that she knows that Lupita Nyong'o was born in Mexico and speaks fluent Spanish? And my last example is none other than Salma Hayek. Unfortunately, there is no video or recording of this conversation, but it's arguably the worst one. She basically got into a heated discussion with Jessica Williams and says a bunch of crazy shit like, who are you when you're not black and you're not a woman? Who are you? What have you got to give? So when you say women of color, Jessica, do you mind if I look into your eyes? And I interrupt because I feel misunderstood. It's not shutting you up. I feel misunderstood at one point. We should also be curious about our brain. By being the best that you can be. That's what I was trying to say to you. Let's not spend all the time in the anger, but in the investigation. And finally, baby, I'm Mexican and Arab. I'm from another generation, baby, when this was not even a possibility. Latino women were not even anywhere near where you guys were. You should read the full conversation. It's pretty gross. Not only does she refer to a grown woman in front of other working professionals as baby multiple times, she speaks for her, she shuts her down, she talks about her experience as a Mexican and Arab woman, and refers to the angry black woman trope. And Salma Hayek, you're a hypocrite.
¿Será por el hecho también de ser mujer que afecta un poco más? Probablemente.
No, yo creo que es diferente para ellos los españoles que los latinoamericanos.
It's not nice when other people try speaking for you, right?
Latin America, we have a long history of anti-Blackness. We had many more people of African ancestry. And so that history of enforced slavery has a very long legacy within Latin America. And it's said that outside of Nigeria, in Brazil, is thought to be a location with the highest percentage of people of African descent. Given that density of people of African ancestry coexisting at the same time with their lack of social mobility, what you instead see is a social hierarchy that is a racial caste system. And Latin Americans will say, oh, well, it's a class issue. But when a class issue is so completely coalescing with a pigmentocracy, then it's hard to say it's only about class. And when I refer to this term of pigmentocracy, what I'm referring to are the ways in which there is a social hierarchy that is arrayed from light to dark, with light being places with the most economic success, the most greatest access to socioeconomic opportunity, and darker spheres with less. And the only sort of additional nuance in that is that you could have light skin, but if you have African features or African hair texture, then that low is your currency.
Given this obsession with whiteness, it's no surprise that throughout Latin America, there were government-led efforts to make countries majority white. In Brazil, it was called branqueamento, and in many parts of Latin America, blanqueamento. The term literally means whitening.
But what is fascinating to note is that after the emancipation of slavery, what you instead see is a turn to the use of immigration law to diminish the access and the mobility of recently emancipated slaves. Like in Argentina and in Brazil in particular, where they had the funding for this, they sort of opened the doors to European immigration. In Argentina, the population doubles after the emancipation of slavery because of the open door policy for European immigration.
Beyond bringing Europeans into Latin American countries to literally lighten the race, Hernandez also said that there were restrictions on the lives of people of African ancestry, like the types of jobs black people could work, the Afro-spiritual religions that they practiced, and even the quality of their education. So, Latin America, y'all think that you're not guilty of institutionalized racism led by the hand of law?
Damn. I guess I was a little blinded to the real side of Latino side, the culture. Y'all racist. I don't know why y'all look down on black people. What we do to y'all? What did we do to y'all? Like real shit. What do we do to anybody to be hated as such? The white man came through and took everything from you. And yet, y'all still think they superior? You still abide by their rules and look up to them subconsciously and shit consciously at this way. You praise a baby that's lighter skin and look down upon a baby that's dark skin? Y'all got it twisted, man. Y'all living up to the oppressor, the ones that killed and raped your ancestors. That's got us in bondage to this day. The same people that look at y'all the same way as us, cause they know we the fucking same. Y'all so dumb, like real shit. Like, hey, the Latinos, they do understand respect to y'all, but as a black, like, bruh, I got all love for Latinos. I never really, but I did, pick up on shit like y'all don't really fuck with me, but y'all gotta wake up, bro. The pressure done got into y'all mind. Y'all done looked at y'all brothers and sisters like they below y'all. Don't get it twisted. Melanin is superior in this world. Y'all light skin, alright? So if we had a standoff, y'all not gonna last. So stop looking down on blacks, bro. Real shit. Shit, in my opinion, that's some bitch ass shit. Boy, you the oppressor footstool of my life, boy. Stop playing with us, nigga. We ain't never bow down. Fuck you talking about? Y'all niggas look up to the oppressor. Y'all hoes. Cause look, all I'ma say is y'all better wake the fuck up. We the same. We all American Indians. Real shit. You better do your history. Look into your history and you will see. You got an enemy on your land.
Just like any other community, there's a significant amount of anti-Blackness and racism from the Hispanic and Latino communities. And it's becoming an extremely prevalent issue that needs to be talked about. This is the start of my series called Anti-Blackness and Racism in Hispanic/Latino Communities. The purpose of this series is to spread awareness and to challenge the idea that these communities are automatically and always allies to the Black community. In each part, I'll be covering my own experiences, other Black people experiences, data, research, social media, etc. One time when I was about the age of 16 or 17 years old, I was working at Publix. And I was in the deli and I saw this girl with kind of designer pants, mismatched pants. Her pants were a patch of light blue and a patch of dark blue and a patch of light blue stitched, and it kept going like that. So the pants were clearly different. And I was squatting down, fixing something with the sauce. And I looked to the side and I said, "Nice pants." I didn't mean anything of it. It was truly an innocent compliment. There was no underlying or secondary meaning behind my statement. And then I went about my day, it was busy, and I got back to bagging. Next thing you know, I see the girl and she now has her father in the line with me. So they're in my line and they finally get up to me. And when they get up to me, her Hispanic father says something along the lines of, "Hey, you made my daughter uncomfortable. You don't need to be commenting on my daughter's body." He kept on going, saying stuff like, "You don't need to be talking about my daughter's body and her clothing when she's in her school outfit." And he came off very hostile, which I didn't like. Mind you, he spoke up a decent bit, so a good amount of people heard him. And now I'm backed into a corner, and I'm going to explain to you why. This Hispanic man was purposefully framing it as if I said something about this girl's body. He was framing it as if I was some old man being perverted and preying on some little girl. And as a Black man in America, I can't just sit back and take that. Rumors will fly fast. And in that moment, I was thinking, God forbid these rumors spread and people really do put that type of perception on me. How am I going to fix that? How is it going to affect my academics? How is it going to affect my school, my work life, so on and so forth? In that moment, at the age of 16 or 17 years old, I was specifically thinking about, what if this goes so far and it messes me up when I'm trying to apply for my master's program? I instantly got upset, agitated, annoyed, and I shortly lost my temper. From onlookers on the outside, it just looks like some ghetto Black guy crash out. But on the inside, they truly don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking far into the future. I'm easily identifiable, and I can't have a rumor like that just go around because there is many people in the line listening. And I specifically thought, what if that lady right there in the line is some type of academic advisor at Valencia? So instantly I get hostile and defensive. And I start saying things like, oh, well, maybe you should keep your daughter at home then. Nobody said anything about your daughter's body. I said something about her clothing and apparel. You can't differentiate from your daughter's body and her clothing because you view her as an object or something along those lines. Because I felt I had to defend something. Because having allegations as a man nowadays, it's no joke. Mind you, the girl couldn't have been no younger than 15. So we were in the same age range. So even if I did say something that was supposed to be romantic or whatever he was claiming it to be, it still wouldn't have been weird or in the way that he was framing it. Eventually I get loud and he just stops talking completely and I'm kind of in his face. And then eventually I say something like, oh, well, we should get a manager. And that's when he finally speaks up after a long period of silence. And he's like, yeah, we should get a manager. Then I call over some managers. And then he's still telling the managers that I said something about this girl's body. He's still repeatedly and consistently lying on me, saying I said something about this girl's body rather than her clothing. I said something about her physical body rather than her apparel. And that was really upsetting me. And to be honest, I was shocked. I had these two very wrong misconceptions in my head. I thought that a false allegation, if I ever, God forbid, got one, would come from a woman. And I also thought if I ever got one, it would come from a white woman. I was clearly wrong. It was a Hispanic, middle-aged man. As a black person, you know and you could feel when there's some racial tension and some negative energy because of your race. And undoubtedly, I felt that in that moment. If anybody, I thought Stacy would do this to me, but it was Maria. I thought Connor would do this to me, but it was Juan. The reason why I believe saying the Hispanic and Latino communities are absolute and complete allies with the black community is harmful because it's removing this barrier that black people usually have with every other race. Growing up in a majority Hispanic city and going to majority Hispanic schools, if I had that barrier, it would have shielded me from so much more. But because I thought that we were one and the same, and because I thought that I was safe, I acted differently. If I wasn't fed to believe that that community had my community's back, I would have been far more cautious. When I was working at that store, customers and coworkers knew me to be somebody that was energetic, extroverted, and bubbly. So much so that customers would go up to the managers and say, oh my gosh, he's a breath of fresh air, so on and so forth, multiple times a week. My coworkers knew me to be that person. So when the sweet lady in the bakery heard what happened, she said, oh my gosh, that kid? No, he would never do that, or something along those lines. So much so that another customer in the line that watched the whole situation came to me after and basically vouched for me and saying, you're always smiling when you're pushing the carts. You're always so happy. I don't know what happened, but basically like, yeah, I'm on your side. If you're a black individual, there is no community that in full and maybe even in half has our back. You must protect yourself in all situations and never to let your guard down. I made 2 videos explaining the differences between race, ethnicity, ancestry, and something else, and I highly recommend you go watch it. Race is a social construct based on appearance. If somebody looks like this, they're white. They may be a Hispanic white, but they're still white. This video is for educational purposes only and to spread awareness, so you could please protect yourself if you're somebody that looks like me. There's no group of people on this earth that collectively have the back of the black community. Honestly, in my opinion, even saying that 50% of any community has the black community's back is a stretch. And this video is not to say that any group of people is bad. The purpose of this video is to enlighten others on the fact that every group of people has humans. We're all just human. Every group of people are capable of good and bad. Believing that a group of people as a collective have your back is extremely harmful, especially if you're a black individual, especially if you look like me. If I could go about that situation differently, I would. I'd still stand my ground and press the issue, but I would go about it differently. I wouldn't crash out in the way I did. I wouldn't lose my temper in the way I did. But I would still press the issue because I can't be labeled as a PDF. In that moment, I was thinking I have a future and I can't let this guy do it to me. Stay tuned for part 2 of my series called Anti-Blackness in Hispanic and Latino Communities, and Jesus loves you.
Prepares for a second surgery this week.
My eye is doing so much pain. My eye and my nose.
Sunday night, the girl had emergency surgery on her eye. She and her mother say the injuries happened after neighbors hosting a Mexican Independence Day celebration used a racial slur against the African-American family.
That word shouldn't be used towards us. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be used towards anybody. Nobody should use that word because that's a bad word.
A few minutes later, 2 women allegedly attacked the girl when she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie out of their way. The 6th grade honor student and cheer captain named her puppy Barbie. Washington and her mom say Barbie was stepped on by one of the women but survived. Then they say the aggressors targeted Washington.
I looked up. A bottle came towards my face, being thrown to my face.
11-year-old Trinity Washington prepares for a second surgery this week.
My eye is doing so much pain. My eye and my nose.
Sunday night, the girl had emergency surgery on her eye. She and her mother say the injuries happened after neighbors hosting a Mexican Independence Day celebration used a racial slur against the African-American family.
That word shouldn't be used towards us. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be used towards anybody. Nobody should use that word because that's a bad word.
A few minutes later, 2 women allegedly attacked the girl when she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie out of their way. The 6th grade honor student and cheer captain named her puppy Barbie. Washington and her mom say Barbie was stepped on by one of the women but survived. Then they say the aggressors targeted Washington.
I looked up. A bottle came towards my face, being thrown to my face.
I will never, and I mean never, understand why you guys keep saying the N-word and then saying we're cousins. We can say it. We were slaves too. You were not enslaved and then called nigga or nigger. Okay? That didn't happen to you. Not only that, you guys are white. Latinos are a mix of white, either white, Native American, or black, and you're definitely not black. You're not black. I'm looking at you. You're not black. And then people are like, I can't believe they would do this. Like, they're still white. They're just Hispanic. Like, I'm sorry to tell you this, it's over.
If you know for a fact that a minor black store employee did not say anything about your daughter's body, but rather her designer pants, and you consistently lie on said minor, there's clearly a deeper issue beyond your daughter's pants. And that deeper issue is clearly race. The first one wasn't racially motivated, please know the difference. You get the energy you put out. I mean, bro, every dad is like that, not gonna lie. No matter what it is, they tweak out. Section 2, whataboutism, aka changing the subject and deflecting. Whataboutism or whataboutery refers to the propaganda strategy of responding to an accusation with a counter-accusation instead of offering an explanation or defense against the original accusation. It is an informal fallacy that the accused party uses to avoid accountability, whether attempting to distract by shifting the conversation's focus away from their behavior or attempting to justify themselves by pointing to a similar behavior, which may be true or false, but irrelevant, often done by pointing to their opponent or another party who is not the current subject of discussion. This is what I'm talking about, and this account specifically is a very odd one. Not only did this account called West G comment multiple irrelevant pictures on my post, but I also caught the same account, West G, commenting the same exact pictures on a very similar post. This has no relevance to the conversation. More comments talking about how they've received racism and how the black community does the same thing, and I kind of find this funny. Why is it when someone in the black community decides to speak up and use their voice to protest against anti-blackness and racism that their community is receiving, now all of a sudden there's a whole line of people that are also experiencing the same thing from the black community? All of a sudden there's 50 people that want to talk about this just because I'm talking about this. And I'm going to explain to you why this is in fact anti-black and racist. If I'm peacefully online protesting about anti-blackness and racism that the black community receives from Hispanic and Latino communities, and in response you create a protest to my protest, you are in fact anti-black. You're not protesting because you felt the need to voice your opinions and to speak up for your community. You're protesting because you don't like my protest. You can't stand that your community isn't the center of attention. It's not about you right now. We're talking about anti-blackness and racism that the black community receives from Hispanic and Latino communities. It's not about you right now. Moving on to section 3, voices in the black community and voices in the Hispanic/Latino communities. I received a lot of love and a lot of support from both communities. And it's very important to point out because the issues I'm speaking about not only hurt the black community, but it also hurts the Hispanic/Latino communities. There's many white Hispanics and Afro-Hispanics that are speaking up about how this anti-blackness and racism within their own communities and families are affecting them. Many Afro-Hispanics speaking up about how even darker Hispanics receive this treatment from lighter Hispanics. Afro-Latinas being questioned on why they can speak Spanish, and people treating them like an anomaly. acting shocked and surprised that they could speak their language. This issue of anti-Blackness and racism within Hispanic and Latino communities doesn't just harm the Black community, it's breaking up Hispanic and Latino families. Yes, do not let them silence you. I'm Hispanic myself, and I even find it hard to befriend other Hispanics because they are very colorist/racist and think it's fine and normal to treat and look at people like that. Denying the message that I'm trying to send will only further harm everybody. I'm going to keep spreading my message. I do believe saying that Hispanic/Latino communities are always and automatically allies with the Black community is a very harmful thing to say. It removes this barrier of protection that Black people have with every group of people. This person's Mexican family, when they found out that she was half Black, started only calling her the Black girl. There's many children within the Black community that are being affected by this. They go to school and they're being called the N-word with the hard R and all of these things. They're being called monkeys, so on and so forth. There's Hispanic men lusting after Black women in private, but paying them money to act like they don't know each other in public. Section number 4, lack of reading and listening comprehension. If I say the phrase anti-Blackness and racism in Hispanic/Latino communities, it should be grammatically understood that I am not calling every single individual within every single Hispanic and Latino community, each in their entirety, anti-Black and racist. I'm very particular with my wording. I purposefully said anti-Blackness and racism in Hispanic/Latino communities rather than saying the Hispanic and Latino communities are anti-Black and racist. There's a big difference with those two words, in and is, in and are. And when I speak, if you're gonna watch my content, you really need to pay attention. I purposefully said phrases such as, just like any other race. And this video is not to say any group of people are bad. Every group of people are capable of good and bad. If you think I generalized or stereotyped a group of people, you weren't listening. You lack comprehension. In each part of this series, I'll be covering my experiences, other Black people experiences, social media, data, etc., in order to spread awareness and to challenge the idea that these two communities are automatically and always allies. I want my community to protect themselves. Thank you for watching, and Jesus loves you.
I'm doing a Dear Black People series from a Latino because there's a lot of quiet stuff that needs to be said out loud about Latinos concerning Blackness. So I'm gonna break this up into different little parts, just to keep it short. But the most important thing that I need Black people to understand is that the level of retardation that Latinos have going on in their own community definitely outmatches yours in the way that, yes, Latino culture is racist by nature. And so it's not just a racism thing against you, it's a racism against ourselves, and we do ourselves worse than we do y'all. It's like this. I want you to imagine that in your community, light skins actually made an actual effort to keep dark skins down on purpose.
One thing that I kept thinking about while watching these clips is that sometimes people don't realize how painful something is until it happens to them personally. You see, there are some people who grow up hearing little comments here and there, things that sound small at first. Somebody making a joke about dark skin, somebody saying at least a baby came out light, somebody saying your hair is too rough, and people laugh it off like it is normal. But when you really think about it, imagine hearing all of those things from childhood all the way into adulthood. After some time, it starts doing something to people. It is like growing up into a house where somebody keeps telling a child that they are beautiful, while telling another that they are okay. Even if nobody says it directly, the message becomes clear over time. One child grows up with confidence, the other grows up questioning themselves. That is why colorism is not just some internet word people throw around. It affects people's confidence, relationships, opportunities, and even how people see themselves. Another thing that stood out to me in those clips is how some Latinos always want to be close to Black culture, but not always wanting to be close to Black people themselves, the founders of that same culture that these Latinos want to get close to. If we are honest, we have all seen this before. Somebody loving Black American music, somebody trying to speak like Black Americans, somebody dressing like Black Americans, people following Black trends online. But when they get close to a real Black person, the energy changes. Why is that? This reminds me of people who love to eat into certain restaurants, but disrespect the chefs in that restaurant. How can you disrespect people who prepared the food that you enjoy? It just does not make sense. You have heard that young man's story in the shop. I think some of y'all may overlook it and think that maybe the father was trying to be protective to her daughter. But what I've noticed is that things can quickly turn serious when somebody already sees you through a certain stereotype. Because let's be honest here, if someone accuses a young Black man of saying something inappropriate, people are quickly to believe the worst before hearing the full story. Some people can make mistakes and be given grace. Some people get judged instantly. That is why he reacted emotionally. This young Black man was thinking, what if this follows me? What if people believe this? And this is something that people who have never been into this position can struggle to understand. You have also noticed how many Latinos were talking about anti-Blackness, colorism inside their own families. That part was interesting to me because inside the family, that is where ideas begin. Many people out there who hate others did not born with that hate. Many children do not born hating anybody. They hear people around them making bad comments about other people. They hear parents warning them who not to date, who not to trust, who have good hair and who have bad hair. And these children grow up and continue this prejudice. There is another thing that was said in the video about lighter skin being praised and darker skin being treated differently. Many of y'all pretend like it is not real, but you see it everywhere. Even in movies, even in advertisements, in music videos, TV shows, beauty standards. People notice who gets treated as attractive and who get pushed to the side. And I also understand the frustration that some people had in those clips when they talked about always getting pushback whenever anti-Blackness is mentioned. Sometimes it feels like when Black people talk about what hurts them, people immediately make it about themselves. Imagine somebody telling you, I broke my leg, and instead of helping them, you immediately start talking about the time when your arm got hurt 5 years ago. It is not that your pain doesn't matter. It is just not the moment. Sometimes people simply want to be heard. That story about that little girl really bothered me as well. Because once children are involved, it hits different. A child should not be learning hatred before they even understand the world properly. People remember how adults treated them when they were children. Another thing that I want to talk about is these people trying to get to whiteness. When people believe looking more white, acting more white, or distancing themselves from Blackness somehow give them value. But history has proven again and again that chasing this does not always protect you. It is a bit like somebody trying so hard to sit at a table where they are not fully accepted, while looking down on the people sitting beside them. And that is sad because many communities actually share similar struggles, similar histories of hardship, poverty, and discrimination. You would think that would bring people together. I think the biggest thing these clips showed is that many people are tired of pretending certain conversations are not happening. That does not mean attacking anybody. It just means being honest. It just means that it is time for people to call out what is making them uncomfortable. That was it for today. I want y'all to tell me what you think about this video down there in the comment section. If you have enjoyed watching this one, please consider clicking on the like button and subscribe for more upcoming episodes. Mr. TA signing off.